or liberation just have vastly different understandings of what liberation is for.
I haven't seen this much importance and attention.
The story itself is a really wonderful, really great setup.
Tractor beam has been engaged.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tractor Beam Comics Reviews on the Star Wars Underworld Podcast Network. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. It is the fourth week of comics in the year 2024. I'm Matthew. That's Chris. Chris, how you doing
Hello.
this week?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. We got a new Star Wars trailer this week. How can I not be feeling good after that
trailer? There's Star Wars does stuff on screen. What?
Every once in a while, they surprise us, or more or less like finally, right?
Yeah, finally. I mean, here I thought Star Wars was exclusively a comic book thing, but you know, turns out. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. Just letting you guys know, I'm kidding. There we go. All right, let's get the plugs out of the way off the top. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at EionCannonPod, EYONCANONPOD. Me personally, MNUG 1138, etc. This past Monday night on the podcast, we talked about character continuity and kept that up. And this coming week, we're talking about the prequels in the EU, so that'll be fun. I'll talk about more of that more at the end. Chris, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at StarRaptor simply, and then youtube.com/StarRaptor over there. I got the Eiram Transmission Sunday night podcasts and the weekly comic book reviews in shorter fashion, in addition to these longer form discussions.
There you go. Yeah, shorter than us. We kept going. We started just like the early days was about half an hour, 20 minutes. And then we did the lunch break things, but now that we're Wednesday nights, we can go. I can keep you hostage as long as I want. Just kidding. We got 2 books on the docket tonight, and then which is good because we got other news, other things to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll kick it off going back to High Republic Phase 3 rather. High Republic Adventures number 2, written by Daniel Jose Older, art by Harvey Talibau and Nick Brokenshire. Colors by Michael Attier and cover by the dynamic brotherly duo of Harvey and Kevin Tolibau. An angry mob of impoverished and destitute refugees have incited a fierce riot outside the mighty fortress on Brackront. As Zine Court and 5AG3 infiltrate the stronghold to face the mysterious warlord Tartak, who may hold the key to finding more survivors of the fall of Starlight Beacon. Of course, we know who Tartak is. I'll get that in a second. But the trio of heroes are sure to find more than they bargained for as they try to piece together the events of the past year. Could any of their friends have survived the tragedy? That's a pretty interesting setup there. Previous world, getting the also that our course summary there. It's Lula Talisola, and we knew that at the end of issue number 1. We've seen different reactions to the fall of Starlight Beacon. We've seen Avar and Avar and Vern have kind of, I think, been the most interesting, and just in shedding their kind of glamorous persona or heroic persona and trying to find themselves. Of course, we have Elzar finding himself more heroic, and then we have Lula. What on earth? What on Eiram happened to Lula Talisola? She almost forgot herself. Did she suffer some sort of mental shock or something where she barely remembers who she is? She doesn't know the forces. She's claiming to be an Isle warlord on this planet called Brackront on Tartak. We pick it up at the fall of Starlight Beacon. I believe that is Eiram. On those, the beacon is on the shore there. The husk, the crumbled husk of the beacon there. And it takes us through her year. And I thought, it could have felt fast. It could have felt rushed, but I thought it was a snappy, exciting, interesting, intriguing issue, just going through and setting us up for getting us to where we are. It kind of fit into Shadows of Starlight a little bit, and that kind of deal. But from very much from Lula's point of view, or just Tartak's point of view, she does remember some things. That's also intriguing, and that's definitely going to be important, I think, to the story going forward, because she does remember, I have what the Mikian wants, really, and of course the zine. She does want to call it to Mikian. There's still something of Lula in there in that moment where she is able to use the Force. She doesn't know how or why or what it is. Yeah, I thought it was really believable. It's very intriguing, this whole what's happened to her memory, and that can happen. That people go through these incredibly shocking things, and they're traumatized out of their mind. But yeah, I thought it was believable and evoking a lot of empathy and interest for that. She's no longer really a Jedi, and that means her and Zine can I think get together. This setup about who's survived the tragedy, it'll be, I don't know how much we'll go into that. I know there's that page at the top, or kind of partway through, that goes through who's in and who's alive and who's presumed dead, and yeah, maybe that's going to be the story going forward. But now that Zine and Lula and Court are reunited again, is Lula herself? Who knows? But yeah, a great setup, an exciting setup. So those were my thoughts on Eiram number 2. What do you think of this?
Yeah. You might have to adjust your mic real quick, because I think you started cutting out there, Matthew.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out a little bit. While you maybe mess around with the Minox over there, I'm going to continue on with my thoughts. As far as this book was awesome. I really enjoyed this introduction. I feel the script was so strong from Daniel Jose Older, going and taking us through, as you said, a great recap. Shadows of Starlight-esque, getting us in there, getting us in ahead. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we got a glimpse at what she was doing on the moments before Starlight Beacon went down, because we got the free comic book a day edition 2023. Did she come into contact with the Nameless by any chance? I'm trying to rack my brain figuring this out, because I don't know if this was induced by the Nameless, perhaps.
It's just possible. I had wondered that. I don't remember that, but I had wondered that.
Yeah, so this almost serves as a good starting off point for new readers, in a sense, because this character is, again, finding herself once again, just as it could be for anybody else, jumping on and be like, oh, I'm going to learn about this story through this character's eyes and discovering everything else. So I really did enjoy that. I like the look at Court. The whole thing that Court was doing was such a Daniel Jose Older, right? It's like his setup for the last issue was so ridiculous, with all these Mikians showing up at this place with all these Utapauans, and they're having a riot, and here we are with Court. He's using the Force to fling these missiles and these homemade bombs, misdirecting them. And it is such a Daniel Jose Older thing. This is such a far-fetched thing, but I love it,
Yeah, I really love, especially with Court, how he's kind of really grown up and really come into his own. He's able to speak basic now. He looks mature, and that's a really good development, and definitely great payoff from what we saw, his really moving, heart-rending story. Not heart-rending, but moving story in the Phase 1 comic. So he's looking forward to what kind of role he plays. Real.
I'm very curious.
Sorry, I do have a word, but my mic is fine. Is my mic good?
Yes, we're good. We're good. Looking as far as the character, where the heck is Farzala at? You know what I mean? This guy's been out of the picture for a long time. He's presumed dead. What the heck is going on there? So I'm very curious about this character.
Sorry. The whole presumed dead. That's the mystery that they've kind of built up, is
and
who's alive.
The ending of this comic, you didn't mention it, was so strong. I feel like she was saying, I don't know, I have to find my home or something like that. And then the last page is all of them hugging together, and she says something to Leslie like, "This is home now. Like, this is home." Like, she's getting like, she can feel the feelings that are familiar to her, but she can't have exact memories. Like, it just feels right. And to see them all embracing each other after all the trauma of the last year has brought them, with Zine, Lula, the little bat creature,
Fan,
Cree or something like that,
Yes, I don't remember. Yeah, Creaky. No, is that right? No, that's in this novel. Forget that. Sorry, a different Chandra fan.
Oh, you're reading that right now,
I'm
right?
still in the middle of Black Spire. So we'll
wow.
get to that too in a minute. But yeah, there's a Chandra fan in there called Creaky. Could be this. No, it can't be the same character. I don't know. How long do Chandra fans live? Anyone in the chat want to look at the Wikipedia article and let us know how long Chandra fans live for?
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, so while this comic had a lot of bringing up the backstory of Lula Talisola, I found it a little bit light on substance. I will say, like, once I got through this the one time, I was like, okay, that was a rather, quick, effective story. I can't say if there's anything else I can glean from this story, because it was basically catching us up.
Yeah.
On what happened. And I was shocked. I thought that was a good way of delivering a story where it's just like, okay, this character just completely forgot who she is. What is going to be this mystery? Why? And that's what we're going to discover. Hopefully, it's like, well, how did she end up this way? But I find that very interesting.
Yeah.
And the Force thing, using the Force out of nowhere, be like, oh wait, what is this? Like, that was really like, what do you mean you don't know how to use the Force officer? What the heck?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it didn't need to be that heavy-handed. I think, that last moment that you mentioned definitely has a lot of weight to it on its own. That last page there. So, and it very much, again, a very DJO type ending, in a good way. I mean, it's in a good way, consistent with everything he's done with these characters to this point. Just thinking back. It was Midnight Horizon, right? Was it Midnight Horizon or I know it's Tales of Light and Life. They have that moment, and that moment continues between Lula and Zine. Lula doing the whole Padawans get to explore the sexuality thing, which is great, which makes sense in this time period. The effect of that, we see the effect of that, creating these subconscious bonds. And so there's, I mean, it isn't, we haven't been given much about it because this was a very quick, like I said, quick, snappy, get to the story, get to the point issue. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to chew on. There's a lot for DJO has given himself a lot to build on.
Do we know how many issues this run's going to be?
No, but I don't know.
I'm assuming 8 to 10.
I'm guessing that. I don't know off the top of my head, but probably around there. There usually are.
The main series is going to be 10 issues. I can't imagine it's going to be more than 10.
Yeah, although I mean, it's interesting that the main series, I mean, they have more time, in both runs of Phase 3, because Phase 3 is just gonna, in terms of the actual release schedule, is gonna go.
You're right. They're gonna run out of room, I feel like.
Yeah,
the books will keep going on. The comics will be over if you do the math.
Yeah,
I got to do the math.
Unless they keep going, unless they add in other things.
Hey, we're gonna do Phase 4, everybody.
Phase 4. No,
here we go.
Gonna be wave 4, wave 5 of Phase 4. No, it's because they're spreading it out. But that's the thing with the comic schedule.
They can't do that. They can't just take 2 months off.
I mean, they could, but they don't want to. Yeah, I guess we kind of. I mean, people struggle to remember what happened in a comic the last month before. So even I do sometimes. I do need the thing at the top. Yes, I'm confessing my slight ineptitude in reading comics. It's a reason why. I mean, I'm not that inept, but there's a reason why comics have these the crawls. And then Star Wars comics have the crawls, but yeah, I mean, this one had it too. Although, again, what happens that ending in issue number 1 was so stunning. It's so cool that you remember it. That it is kind of odd that this previous world thing, mysterious warlord Tartak. Well, again, we know at the end who that is.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, because they have to print that stuff like months ahead,
yeah,
and then they have to have covers. So they can't possibly try to have like Lula Talisola on like cover number 2, because if that got out before issue number 1 came out, like
True,
everybody would know, right? So they
yeah,
have to. In this case, it was such a big spoiler. It was an awesome moment. Such a big spoiler, like mouth opening. Oh my gosh, draw to the floor moment. That good on them for hiding it. And we probably won't see like Lula Talisola on the cover till like issue number 5 at this point now.
that's a great point. I'm used to Marvel promotions and Dark Horse. I guess this is Dark Horse, so maybe they have a better run operation when it comes to being spoiler averse than Marvel does, because Marvel, yeah, I mean, there's an ad for, in the Thrawn Alliance, there's an ad for Kevin Scott's High Republic number 6. That just
Yeah.
tells us what's going on. So it gives us a bit of a tease, but yeah, I mean everything with Dark Droids and the ongoing from kind of into last year, October, November of last year. So yeah, good on Dark Horse for getting their act together in the spoilerverse. Some of the promos, fair enough. That's true, because this would have come out this would have been part of the solicits from way back when. So yeah, that's fair. Anything more to say about HRA number 2 here? All right, I think we can move right along the team up we've been waiting for. 6 years in the making. Thrawn Alliance is number 1. It's here, everyone.
Yeah.
Written by Timothy Zahn and Jody Hauser, art by Pat Olive and Andrea DeVito, colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, cover there by Rod Rice. I really want to get that promo cover that's based on the San Diego variant.
Same. They only got 2 covers for that at my local shop.
Yeah.
It's my fault because I didn't get to my shop until after midday, so afternoon. So basically, it was sold out already. One guy automatically at my store, I found out today, gets every single variant copy of every Star Wars comic.
Yeah.
So he automatically had it, and I guess they had one on the shelf that I didn't get into. So I was a little bit perturbed by that, but whatever. I was telling the guy, I was like, you know what? It's variant covers I haven't collected in over a year. So it's probably a good thing I didn't get it, because it would just get me to do it again, maybe.
That's true. I get variants all the time. I definitely wanted to get this variant. I forgot. So I hope I haven't missed the boat. I'm going to call Cyber City Comics North Toronto. I'm going to give them a ring, maybe give them a visit this weekend. Yeah, and of course, this is the adaptation of the novel by Timothy Zahn. Return to the saga of Thrawn with the comic book adaptation of Thrawn Alliances. Timothy's on teams with Star Wars veteran Jody Hauser to bring Thrawn Alliances to the pages of comic books. This is interesting. This is keep on going with the cast here. Watches Andrea DeVito and Pat Olive bring the action to life, showcasing the tactical prowess of the galaxy's most dangerous mind. I should probably be more selective when I make these things, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, because we already know the story. Anyway, I'll throw it to you. What do you think of Thrawn Alliance's number 1?
Oh man, Matt, I've been waiting for this for a long time. We got the original Thrawn series way back one, and I was just waiting on bated breath for them to ever announce Thrawn Alliances, because I love the Grisk. I freaking stand the Grisk so hard, man. I've been wanting to see those guys in Star Wars, just to see how they look for the longest darn time. I'm obsessed with everything revolving around the unknown regions. The idea that there are species out there that we've never seen, the idea that technologies are different, the idea that there's different civilizations behave differently, and you have different ways of getting around the galaxy. There's so much breadth and room and freshness that relates to these Thrawn stories because of the unknown regions.
True.
And obviously Thrawn himself. I mean, this guy is a mastermind. He's Sherlock Holmes of the Star Wars galaxy. He's 5 steps ahead of the other people. He's not even on the same spectrum. Like, there's just so much that I've wanted to have Thrawn into comics again. And man, oh man, I am really happy that they brought Tim Zahn on board with Jody Hauser this time. Not sledding Jody Hauser for the first run, but I see Tim Zahn's fingerprints all over this issue. I really think these guys delivered the best, and it's not over yet. We only got 1 of 4, but like, this is the best case scenario for how to bring something from the printed page without any illustrations to a comic book medium, because they pull it off. It's an oversized issue. I wasn't sure if it was going in. And I was in the car. I must have spent almost 30 minutes reading this single issue because I was really just absorbed into it. And before I knew it, I was like, "Oh crap! I'm not gonna have time to read High Republic Adventures before work starts. I gotta read that real quick before we go live here." But yeah, it's what I will say about this issue. It's very dense, but the way that we traverse through all the dialogue, because it's heavy on dialogue. Obviously, it's off of a novel. I feel like the creative team did it definitely when it came to doing this, like going between the present day with Vader and with Thrawn, and then going to have those seamless transitions to Anakin and Commander Thrawn back in the day. It's just so good. Seeing Padme is so good. Seeing these designs, seeing Thrawn's ship when he's talking to Anakin Skywalker, the Chiss designs, absolutely love it. Sleek designs. Seeing the little nuances of moments like when the stormtrooper captain is like, "Oh, we're looking at aliens as like second class citizens. Like we don't give a crap about aliens. I don't care if he's a Grand Admiral or not. He's an alien. He doesn't belong." Xenophobic. We've always all this great Legends content gets brought in because of canon with this book and all. I just absolutely love it. I mean, I'm just speaking from I'm kind of like fanboying out right now because man, this is like my sort of story. I'm trying to deliver my usual reviews, but I'm kind of going all over the place as you would imagine.
You love what you love.
I have about
part
like
of it.
15 bullet points based on this one little comic story. But overall, yeah, just a fantastic job of Vader and Thrawn and seeing those disagreements. I love that tension between the two. Vader is kind of put in his place a little bit by Thrawn, like, "No, we're doing it my way." Vader's like, "Don't ever do that again." Like all this fun stuff going back and forth. This is why I love Thrawn Alliances in the first place. And this is why I'm really going to love this.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Some little parts of it, especially the beginning, felt rushed. Felt like a big clip. I get that that's the challenge of, that's the thing we're concerned about, or we're wondering about how they can get this whole adult novel into 4 issues. Yeah, some things moved at a pretty quick clip, maybe because we're used to the novel. But then when things slow down, when things take a pause, they pick those moments great. They pick the moment with Anakin dealing with the pirates, right? When Padme's ship is taken off, what's happened to her? And yeah, like you mentioned, that scene where Thrawn asks his Commodore the Commodore pipes up and says, "Can I give a suggestion?" As if
Faro.
That's just how Faro, how the Chimera works. That's how Thrawn has set things up. And Vader's all, why are you allowing this? You were given an order, Commodore.
Yeah.
Behave and obey. And Thrawn's, "No, this is how I do things here." And even the question later about destroying, Vader wants to just destroy those enemy ships where Thrawn wants to gather intel, and we've seen that with Thrawn repeatedly, even in Rebels, to some extent. The thing about it being a comic, you feel it more you feel it in a different way. You feel it in a more visceral way. Yes, the way it's written with Zahn, and a good writer good prose writer can get the feeling. But yeah, to incorporate the visuals, it felt almost like it's the closest thing to it is the closest thing to one of these novels getting an animated treatment or just an on-screen treatment, because even the talking about the tactics, right, with Thrawn and Faro, you see Commodore. I can't do the
I love this part in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, how the tactics and all that. It really felt like a Zahn novel, which it is.
Yeah.
And yet you can see the dialogue and whatnot. There's like Joel and I go back and forth about this novel Thrawn versus screen Thrawn, and that's, I guess, the question we're gonna have to set aside, because they're not really gonna be able to deal with it, because the story is the story. But yeah, I loved it. And then hashtag prequelist here, like to see Sky Guy, even in the previews, just I was like, oh, Anakin in Clone Wars armor. We saw that in Ahsoka, but we're seeing it now. And then of course my panel of the week, my page of the week. It's a page of the week. First you got Padme, and then you got Batuu. Things I was looking for. Like I said, I'm reading Black Spire. So that's why I've got this thing. This is still water, by the way. I'm just excited. I mean, just excited to go to back to Batuu. To why I picked up Black Spire to see it. We get to see it again, and we get to see Padme there.
Yeah.
I forgot. I was a little thrown off why she calls herself Queen Amidala. I'm guessing that has to do with the hologram passcode or something. I was a little confused, but I forgot. But then as that gets picked up, and that her handmaiden or assistant had died on Batuu, again they have to push through the story a little bit there, but yeah, it's it was really just really fun to visit. And again, the places, the key point, the places where they're able to slow down and dig in for both, and they picked both the Imperial era and the Clone Wars era to slow down in those moments. And so yeah, it's definitely given some good vibes going forward. I do wish it was at least 6 issues. If it's 4 oversized issues, that might be okay, but I would have liked 6 issues at least, to give some more time, more breathing room. But they're doing the best they can. I'm guessing that was necessarily Zahn or Hauser's decision, but better than the sorry to say that, I hate to be this way. It's better than the screen adaptations, because they're a lot freer to pick and choose what they do there. So those are any of my thoughts. I'm guessing you have more to say there.
Yeah, I'm looking. There's one thing that I was a little bit thrown off by. It's on this one page here. I don't know if you're also confused, but it's like Vader talking, and there's quotation marks like he's narrating.
Yeah,
but it just seems like, is he actually saying that? Because it doesn't seem like something Vader would say. Like, no, he has not prepared for what happened here. The Jedi,
right. So
at whose feet this disaster lies, the Jedi was known as Anakin Skywalker. What? I don't understand this part.
So that's interesting. It brings up the thing that Alliances brings up, the thing that Charles Soule's brilliant, perfect comic, Vader comic, brings up. Vader's attempt to forget Anakin, Vader's relationship to Anakin, and here he is. Really, I mean, that's one of the best things about Thrawn Alliances. We see Vader attempt to distance himself from his past life in that, and I think he's doing it through speech. He's saying, "This Jedi Anakin, he failed."
I see. One of the examples of his failure. Makes more sense.
It is, again, it is kind of hard, but I mean, I always have that. The Anakin Vader relationship pays rent in my head.
Here's the question I have then. Is because at the end of the original Thrawn novel, Thrawn basically calls out Vader like, "You're Anakin," right? Does he tell him that? He's like, "You're Anakin Skywalker," or something like that?
It's in this one. It's in Alliances.
Okay, because I'm wondering now if they're on their mission, they're like, he assumes he knows who he is, and Vader knows that, or Vader maybe doesn't know Thrawn knows that. Like, how is this relationship? That's one thing I'm trying to remember now.
I'm pretty sure it's in Alliances.
Okay.
I mean, I remember my old podcast for High Stick Anakin, like Thrawn piecing things together. It is he, because this is the most time they spend together in both timelines, right?
True.
In both time frames, and so this is kind of, because that's one of the funny things about this novel. One of the interesting things, but also the funny things is. And I think I said this in 2018 on that podcast. I should dig up those. It's audio only for Christ's sake, Anakin. Go check it out. It was all on my lonesome there. The name for Christ's sake, Anakin. It's funny. This is supposed to be a Thrawn novel, but you throw Anakin and Vader in, and it becomes an Anakin and Vader novel. It becomes an Anakin and Vader show, because he's the main character of the saga. And at least to me, that's the most important question, interesting question. We have this backdrop on our podcast here of Vader saying Skywalker because he's talking about Luke, but he's also talking about Anakin. It's going to go into this, and we're going to see it, and we're going to see Thrawn put 2 and 2 together, and I'm excited to see that. So that, again, hopefully we can also put 2 and 2 together with Thrawn. Again, I don't think they're going to do that, but Joel saying Zahn Thrawn and Filoni Thrawn are maybe 2 different characters, but again, there's nothing they can do in this comic they can tell us they're good.
Yeah.
This is a story.
Something they included in this one, I don't remember exactly from the book because it's been a while since I read the book, is a Legends thing that Joel would know about. The Legends expert on this channel. Is this idea of a beacon call with a ship that can be like remotely called down without a pilot to where like the locator is. I remember that being used actually in Heir to the Empire, I believe, from all those years ago when I read that novel trilogy. So I like that like little locator that she had on her, and it just, this is a really cool part of the story. Like even without Thrawn being it, with the whole idea of Padme investigating, finding out that there's a separatist foundry on Makiv, or however you spell Mokivi, or whatever, however you spell it. But it's like this kind of reminds me of like Attack of the Clones, where it's Obi-Wan Kenobi trying to investigate. There's a little bit of noir to it, where it's a little detective work, Batman kind of stuff going on in the background, and Anakin's there. So I like that. Again, new species we get to see for the first time. Darcy, they're very villainous, very nemesis looking, and to see that battle play out is pretty badass. Seeing Vader there, that full page spread of Grand Admiral using some batons against them. Like this guy's not just gonna stand at the back of his army. This guy gets his hands dirty and he knows how to fight, as we've seen in Rebels fighting those training droids on the Chimera there. So yeah, nice little nods here and there to things that I thought really add a lot more flavor to the story and all.
And again, with the visual that we get to see it has this added dimension to it. And again, this visceral dimension, even seeing Thrawn's tactics, because in Rebels we don't get to see it as much. Obviously in Ahsoka he only has one ship, so he's able to send the Night Sisters or whoever around. But
we even see Rook.
Yeah, we see Rook.
Is that the first time we see him in comic book form?
I think maybe
because he wasn't in the first Thrawn book, right?
No, that's true. Yeah, that's interesting. Was he
first appearance of Rook? Everybody, if you want to pick up your first appearance of Rook in canon, there you
go. In canon, and as what's his name? The guy who plays Wicket. Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who voices.
Oh.
Now I'm forgetting real people, real characters, voice actors, their names.
Me too. It's spreading. It's like the scourge. It spreads.
Yes. Warwick Davis, the legendary Warwick Davis. How could I forget the legendary Warwick Davis? Anyway, yeah. That's another interesting thing. I'm reading this. I'm hearing Lars Mikkelsen. I'm hearing Mark Thompson's perfect take on Lars Mikkelsen. So, that's kind of what we do. I guess it's so distinctive too. So it's helpful. It's off to a great start. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing things I remember, things I don't. Give me more Padme. I actually did get was able to get the Barnes and Noble edition of the novel with the poster. I heard it just happened to be in Michigan and when the book came out, so they went over to Barnes and Noble.
Oh my gosh!
Just visiting Michigan, and so so I have the poster with Padme on Batuu. So this is a great reminder of that panel. I don't typically get that anymore, but
yeah, she's got a very cool outfit. The Batuu gear she wears. I like it.
And and I remember her being written pretty decently well for Tim Zahn. He can write female characters okay.
Yeah, because at that point we didn't really have a lot of Padme content. I'm not sure if Queen Shadow's even out yet at that point.
No, I don't think it was 2018. So, and I was hearing Kat Tabor, not Natalie Portman. Go figure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, never mind. That's what I do. That's one thing with when I read comics. Another thing is I actually try to hear their voices.
I could so hear Lars Mikkelsen's voice reading this comic. I was like parsing his words, this frame of speech in my mind, reading his dialogue. Perfect.
Yeah.
As you would expect from the author himself that created the character.
What we need to happen is Mark Thompson to just do a reading at Celebration or something, like at New York Comic Con or something. That needs to happen. Oh my goodness. I have such ideas. I'm manifesting that in the universe. Because it's just how Anthony Daniels did the reading of that C-3PO one shot. Right.
Really?
Yeah, remember he'd do readings of the C-3PO one shot at
I
Celebration.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think they're on YouTube. I think they're available. So Mark Thompson, if you're watching, you aren't, but please do a reading of this because that'll be really great. I mean, we could probably sync up the audiobook somehow, but no, it'd be fun if he was able to just sit down and read it. That'd be cool. All right, you guys, you have anything more to say?
No, I think we're good for now. I know we got some other fun things to talk about.
We do have some fun things to talk about. That's all for comics for today. We'll get to what's coming out next week at the end.
Wait, no, it isn't.
Yeah. No, pardon?
For another comic story.
We're done for new comics that came out today.
Don't skip over this.
That's what I mean. There's a comic coming out pretty darn close to my birthday. Darth Maul, black, white, and red. Today, StarWars.com announced that we're getting Darth Maul, black, white, and red. And it's Star Wars, of course, the next installment in Marvel's Black, White Bloodline. I know. No Wolverine's gotten one.
Mm-hmm.
I think is it Scarlet Witch and
a
few others. That'd be really interesting. Check it out. And of course, black, white, and red Darth Vader. That was really great. So glad to see. I'll show you. This is Alex Maleev's cover for number 1.
Wow.
Number 1 of issue number 1 is a 4-issue run. I don't know if they're going to do what they did with the Vader one, with different artists doing different main covers and whatnot. But we know that issue number 1 will be written by Benjamin Percy with art by Stefano Raffaele, and it arrives April 24th, close to my birthday, and of course Ben Hart, the Star Wars guy, his birthday too. The article says April 25th, but that's a Thursday, so that can't be right. I checked because when's my birthday? It's coming up. It's got to be the 24th. That's fine. And then of course, the actual article talks about it set before the Phantom Menace, so TPM at 25. Keep that train going. Maul has to confront the chaos-loving final occultation. Occultation. And they love chaos and how the Sith love order. Of course, this is Maul just before the Phantom Menace being all, let's finally reveal ourselves to the Jedi. He can't restrain himself. Because we have a Darth Maul comic set in this time already. This is probably going to be more violent and different and intriguing and pretty gripping and you kind of more probably at least PG-13 if not more. And my first thought on hearing this news, I'm like, okay, Vader's mostly black with a little white. Maul is literally red and black. There was a perfect person to do this. It'd be Maul, just because of visual. It's gonna be so visually striking, and so I'm looking forward to just for this comic, just for that reason alone. But Maul in this time, just this young, bloodthirsty, blood-curdling Maul, who is also kind of teenage angst Maul. So before the Phantom Menace, looking forward to what they got there. What did you think of this news? How'd you react?
Yeah, first of all, reaction was, oh, thank goodness it's not another Darth Vader comic. I'm sorry, but I'm just so over it. It would have been so easy for them to be like, just slap a volume 2 on the end of it. Be like, we're doing more.
It's right here. Sorry, keep going.
But it's very interesting. I'm also very nostalgic for the 2017 Darth Maul miniseries. I remember where I was when that was actually announced, and thinking, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then that comic ended up being pretty freaking awesome with Cad Bane. Speaking of Chadra Khan, there was a Chadra Khan in that one. Ara Singh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is perfect for the character. I mean, burgeoning Sith Lord, just cutting down people. I mean, come on, this is what you want this character to be in, like a no holds bar, just violence, uber violence, ultra violent, just going after different targets. I recently, in the last year or so, listened to a pre-Phantom Menace audiobook, a Legends one, called Darth Maul Shadow Hunter. And that was pretty sweet, getting into the mindset of Maul before the time of Phantom Menace, getting to understand where he's at. Now, I know that this is not exactly a typical miniseries. It's more of an anthology, so you're going to have a different artist and a different writer on each issue. The way that Darth Vader black, white, and red is you had a overarching story that was written by, I think, Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
That was like a couple pages every issue, and then they had like a specific backstory from another artist and person throughout. It seems like this is going to be just like, okay, every issue it's a standalone story, nothing connected. So this could work out really well for it, kind of jumping around different parts of the pre-Phantom Menace timeline, getting just different maybe growth moments from all different moments that set him on where he was in Phantom Menace. So I'm excited to see how big of swings they take. I'm already excited just by the first story we're getting. Seems like it's a pretty meaty story of introducing like a brand new element into Star Wars with these occultist people or whatever they're called.
The final.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So we don't know how it's going to be structured. My first thought is it would be similar to the Vader one, but it's an intriguing possibility that it is a departure. It's just this 4-issue run. The art style is probably going to be similar. The use of color, and the way the use of color is they only use black, white, and red. They don't use anything else. And in the Vader run, the only red was the lightsaber. Here with Maul, it's probably gonna have to be his skin or his tattoos or whatever those are on his face. Yeah, that's his actual skin, right? Yeah. So yeah, that it's intriguing, especially because with Vader, he was so controlled. That's the thing comes out. He's so in control. He's authoritative. He, the main story or the few of the main stories he's going to when he's being taken hostage by I guess it was Silo's son or something, and he can dismantle him, and he still can't. I remember that story about that rebel base that he infiltrates on his own.
Yeah.
Completely in control of the situation, and so they can maybe jump around to break that up a little bit, because that could get a bit monotonous. Maul, I mean, that in that earlier comic, he's on the verge of exposing the Sith, right? He's like, I gotta do it. He's again this teenage angst of look, Master Palpy-Dad, I don't care what you want. I don't care what your big plan is. I want to get revenge for Malachor. Yeah. I want to get revenge now. Kind of interestingly, thinking about it now, with Vader and Thrawn, Thrawn is the one who has more control and is smarter. Here we're going to see Palpatine, of course, have more control. I mean, Thrawn makes everyone around him look dumb. And say he's not a teenager, but he acts like a teenager. He has I guess in terms of his actual numbers around whatever years, standard Coruscant years or whatever. But the sense of not so reasoned and not needing to learn reason, needing to heal, HEEL, to what Palpatine's plan is. So that's going to be interesting that he confronts this chaos, this group that's all about chaos, all about and probably like the Nile, like other groups, just going out doing what we want without having much organization. That's my guess, and it's probably going to be appealing and tempting to him to go for this, and so to see Palpatine try and keep him in check, to see maybe this tension between that Maul may have. He might have a sense of the Bane plan, of needing to hold on and hold back, but also like, okay, here's a Jedi, here are Force user, here whoever. They even mention in the StarWars.com article the whole before at last we shall reveal ourselves to the Jedi. That's the tension to build up. So yeah, really intriguing, really interesting news coming out of this. Yeah, April. I mean, it's another. it's an announcement at all, right? It's something at all. We always wonder what's going to fill out the calendar here. Well, here's one thing. Issue number 1, April 24th.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of prequel content between the Glass Abyss, the Living Force, Mace Windu, Jango Fett, of the Qui-Gon original graphic novel. Obi-Wan. It's gonna be prequel content. You guys are gonna love it. You guys are winning out there. If you're a prequel fan, hold on to your butts because we're gonna get a lot of content, more so than original trilogy content. I feel like at this point,
it's about freaking time, guys. It's about time. I mean, again, Phantom Menace at 25. They're clearly getting the party going. I hope. It makes me wonder. Are they gonna do? Is there some sort of kind of event or something in May about this? I don't know. Just because, there's just so much Phantom Menace around Phantom Menace. Again, this is. I mean, we've speculated that the next big era they're going to explore is the 10 years after Phantom Menace, but they're starting before, and that's here it is. This and I guess the Mace Windu comic as well. And the Django, like you mentioned. So I guess the Django is probably going to be set closer to Attack of the Clones, but I'm here for it. Hashtag prequelist. Like, we won. Come on. And by that I mean and I don't mean like by that I mean the whole thing of the prequels suck or whatever. That's kind of it's there. It's there. It's off to the side. And I mean, there's so many of these artists who want to explore this era, and these authors who really want to. John Jackson Miller really wanting to do this book. So, John Jackson Miller wouldn't do this novel if he didn't want to. So, yeah, there we go. I mean, again, Thrawn Alliances, we're getting that era as well. So there we go. Yes, and Joel saying using just the prequels. So it's the prequels are the main quel, first part of the main quel. There we go. All right. There we go. So, you have any more thoughts on this one before we get to one last bit of news?
Let's do it. Let's get to the last thing here.
Yeah. So, calling audible.
Again.
Let me just span it down. Calling audible. This is nothing related with comics. It only sort of has to do with novels. That was a Bad Batch trailer, and Joel and I talked about it on Monday. So, and I'm just. We're a Star Wars podcast. Talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, I might as well.
There's a Star Wars thing happening. February 21st. The first episode, first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. There is, it does have to do with novels, again, Joel and I went into that. If you want to know my thoughts on all that with Dark Disciple and all that, but Chris, I was curious to know what you think about the trailer, what Palpatine's up to, and then
first of all, they put out a trailer on a Monday. That never happens. Look at the track record. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know there's a lot of bad buzz going around the internet, so I'm going to go big conspiracy theory here and go like, all right, quickly put the trailer up before more discourse happens, because that's what exactly happened with the Mandalorian Grogu trailer. I'm pretty sure people are just being idiots online. It's like, no, Star Wars needs to be positive, not negative all the time. Just get a good trailer out there, and that's what we got. And first thoughts were, oh my gosh, they made the announcement, and the show's coming out in less than a month from the time they made that announcement. That's never happened. Like, is this maybe what's going to happen in the future? My analytical brain was just like, oh, maybe from here on out, we're going to do a month or less for new announcements of air dates or something, maybe for live action, maybe further out.
Yeah.
But no, looking at this, how could you not talk about Asajj Ventress? No one could have seen that coming. And I instantly was like trying to refresh Star Wars.com, like, please give me information on this, because like everybody out there is like freaking out, like, oh no, you can't be reversing the death of a character. It's one thing to have, Kanan Jarrus with a couple of the clone troopers, but to have somebody alive that should be dead, what is the Lucasfilm Story Group doing? And I was like, oh, they put that there on StarWars.com for everybody to see. No, they're not retconning Asajj Ventress from Dark Disciple. We're going to get her treated fairly here. So, I'm fine with that. But even before that, the very well-made trailer, I like the representation of more turbo tanks in Star Wars and more stormtroopers piloting LAATs. Yes, give me more of that good stuff there. But just, even Palpatine on Exegol. Come on, Palpatine walking with Royal Guards on Exegol.
Is that Exegol or
what good can happen there? Was that?
Is that Exegol, you think, or is that still Mount Tantus?
Oh, sorry, not Exegol. Mount Tantus.
Your
Sorry,
your,
Mount
your
Tantus,
mind is
everybody.
going there, though. I know why your mind was going. I mean,
Oh,
Tantus
man.
is very
So,
Exegol-y. I'll say that. Yeah.
but yeah, no, overall, I'm very excited for it. Very excited. Great trailer.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm never disappoints with their big, climactic, showy trailer, especially with the finality of it all, saying it's the final season. We got the rundown. I like how there's no mystery there. Certain weeks we're getting more than one episode. It was going to be a total of 15, I believe.
Mhm.
Starting out with 3 episodes. We're going to get a good hour-long movie, man. Another thing is it seems even in the dialogue that there's been some time separated. Are we talking years, months? What's going on? How long has Omega been captured? Very curious to see how they pick up the story.
Yeah, again, just really great trailer. My thoughts. Check out the on Canon podcast from Monday. Yeah, everyone take a breath. And it was great that they released that thing on StarWars.com, just so people would take a breath. One thing I thought about since is what's really come out, and Mark Thompson and so many other folk, Christy Golden, saying, "Oh yeah, just celebrating this novel, this right here, worth celebrating. It's worth celebrating." And I mean, it's like you said, Star Wars, kind of the PR team pushing the positivity. There could have been the chaos, and that could have been a PR move to just let the book fans erupt in chaos for the sake of it and get publicity. Know that they've gone the positivity route, and that's ultimately more constructive for the fans. Because they're saying, yeah, we love this novel and how exciting it is, and it's not this sort of tragic. We're defending something that we're lost. R.I.P. Dark Disciple. It's this is where this is going. Where this has come from. If you want to know what happens with Asajj between her last appearance, I guess in season 5, and this appearance here, read this novel, because these were the scripts and this was what was planned. So but also, I mean, something Joel was saying, the opportunity to bring her back, because the plan to kill her off was not necessarily the best idea. Always, I can see the argument. It was, I thought it was very impactful, but I can see why others just because she's such a great character and she's just going to have such an impact. And to reiterate the main point I was saying on Monday is what is going to continue is the story progression. Is like she's standing heroically. She has even just the hair and the look, again, the stance, the yellow lightsaber. I wouldn't call her a Jedi. Oh, she can't be a Jedi, but she's embracing more of her Jedi origins and more of what the Jedi should stand for in the galaxy, which are now she's now standing against this Coruscant government still that is now the tyrant, the oppressive tyrant. So really curious to see again what they do with this, how they figure it out. That's Joel putting it very succinctly. She's no longer a villain, but she still has an edge, which heroes can have edge.
I think for 2 things. First of all, I instantly thought of Quinlan Voss and the idea of, if she's alive, her love interest is surely going to know about this. He's going to have to fit into the picture somehow. I want to see him. We've been getting teases of Quinlan Voss going back to 2017 Vader on Charles Soule, knowing he was on the list live. Then Obi-Wan Kenobi came out and it was like Quinlan Voss is alive with the hidden path helping people go through. I can't help but see, like, even if he doesn't have a cameo, I think there's a good potential for spin-off possibilities with some characters. Like, you introduce Ventress in the final season of an animated series, and that's how we're gonna bring it. Like maybe the second or third, if it's a 5-season show, maybe, but I feel like it's a little too late kind of thing, unless they're propelling Omega and Ventress and maybe some other characters that kind of go into like another series after this one, because it just seems like there's so much potential here for just her story alone
Yeah.
Are they going to be able to satisfy us? They will satisfy us, but I'm going to be like, I want more. I want more.
Yeah, I mean, even the shirt I'm wearing, Quinlan and the Path, and Dom's been going through the Jedi Survivor playthrough on YouTube, and just reminding me, the Path, right? There's been seeds of this, and Quinlan has probably a big role in it. Maybe that's the next show. Maybe that's the next thing. Really, they're bringing back the comics here, Legends, Dark Times, that Legends comic, which I mean, one of the few Legends things I've really read and really loved a lot. And so, to continue exploring that, because that's the thing with Bad Batch, it's not a Jedi show, and it's not meant to be. But bringing Asajj in, there is this arrow, this pointer to, okay, what are our former Jedi, our heroic Force users up to? We know what villainous Force users are up to. We know what the Sith are up to. We know what the Inquisitorius are up to, starting to get up to. And so, what do you do? And that's also been a question I've always found really curious, really intriguing. Starting even with that Kanan comic, for example. And Kanan in Bad Batch starts to do it a little bit. What does it mean to be a Jedi in the Empire, in the Dark Times when the Order's gone? And so, maybe here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, that's my hoping. Joel saying, speaking of comics, Quinlan the Boss's arc. Maybe I don't know. I might give that a shot. I have thought to give that a shot. That's I forget what run that is. Is it Republic or Empire, or I forget what it's called, but when I have time to read some Legends, maybe I'll do that.
I know it's hard enough to keep up with the canon.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Escape from Valo is coming out in a few weeks. Coming out next week, I think. So
great book, everybody. Go pick it up.
There we go. By Daniel Holzolder and Alyssa Wong. I did read this. This is just here because I have to do the digital code. But speaking of Alyssa Wong, unless you have anything more to say about Bad Batch trailer.
No, I say tune into Outer Rim Transmission later on this week on Sunday. We're going to be breaking down that trailer shot by shot. So there's a lot of things I missed in my little opening salvo there, but you can be rest assured that we're going to try to crack down into the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah, mistimed water swig there. Speaking of Alyssa Wong, I looked at the previous world. I looked at what's coming out next week. I'm actually sad. But to say what I was going to say about Bad Batch, what we said about Ethan Sachs' Bounty Hunters run, to finish a story well is so hard, so challenging, and Ethan Sachs did it. I think Jennifer Corbett's going to do it. Alyssa Wong is going to do it, and it's so it'll be really sad next week to go into it, but then that's the only book coming out, thankfully. Chris, you were mentioning off the top or before, it's giving it time in the sun because it deserves it. And so we're going to just talk about this issue and then the run as a whole. Are you looking forward to it? How are you feeling knowing that this run is ending?
Yeah, I'm just excited to be like, if she can live or is she gonna die? And that's why it's a simple, dumb question. But when it comes to these Star Wars stories, they really mean a lot, right? Because whether we like it or not, we're gonna see that last issue of the Star Wars main line. How much could really happen, right? Luke's gonna live, Leia's gonna live, Lando's gonna live. They're all gonna be happy and go to Jabba's palace. Same thing with Darth Vader. Like there's not a lot of risk. There's not a lot of stuff that can far off happen. Whereas you look at Bounty Hunters, which we got a surprise happy ending. I don't think anybody's seen that coming, honestly. Like Ethan Sachs was putting it out there. Somebody's gonna die. It's gonna be horrible. We're gonna be crying. No, it's a nice happy ending. It was great to see. So with Dr. Aphra, I don't think it's gonna be as happy of an ending. But still, there's every one of the characters in that story is uncharted, right? Yep. We don't know what the heck can happen. And I think just that feeling of the unknown with these Star Wars stories is not something we get a lot. So when we do get that kind of storytelling, same thing with Bad Batch, right? Like, where are the Bad Batch at the end of that? Are they going to die? What, are they going to get phased? What's going to happen? So that instantly gets me more excited. But just like you said, the finality of it all, It's hard to pull off a good story. I want to see where it goes, and if there's any hints on what could be done in the future.
Yeah, I mean, there's in Revelations, there's that hologram, the bounty hunter Puck. So she's in there, but she holded herself into a planet. The end of number 39.
Yeah.
No, it's a weird planet that does weird things, and so we don't quite know what. But just like Ventress, I think she's too good of a character to kill off, and she's just now embraced her heroic side. So yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with saying this is it for now. Again, you can bring this up because Alyssa is a little busy with another. I mean, a bit more clear of a hero, Carol Danvers, but it's good. Yeah, again, I hope not. It's one of those things where I really hope she's not gone. I really hope there are more Afra stories by Alyssa Wong, by someone else who can do just as good of a job. Pretty high bar, but yeah, that's what's coming down the pipe next week. Any last thoughts on Afra number 40?
Yeah, no, let's buckle up. I'm sure we have quite the ride ahead of us next week.
There we go. All right. So yeah, that does it for the Tractor Beam Comics reviews this week. And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at Ion Cannon Pod, EYEONCANONPOD, on the Ion Cannon podcast on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Again, we're talking about the impact of the prequels on what is now Legends on the expanded universe. So I'm guessing, I don't know, but if Quinlan's going to show up in that too, maybe not, but just the impact of that era of storytelling of the films on the paper storytelling that was going on there, right here on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel, where we have super chats, we have all this other stuff, and of course all those socials, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all those and whatnot. So yeah, keep it locked right here. Like and subscribe to this video if you haven't already, and yeah, check us out on Monday. Chris, again, where can they find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at my blog, starraptor.substack.com. Haven't released anything new this week, but I'm going to be doing regular updates here and there. You can also follow me on Twitter at starraptor, and you can also follow me on my main channel, youtube.com/starraptor. Again, Outer Rim Transmission live show, Star Wars talk show, goes live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I also have my reviews of the latest upcoming High Republic books. We have Defy the Storm, and as Matthew mentioned, Escape from Batuu out next week. I have a review for that as well. If you're on the fence, if you want to know just vaguely what it could be about without any spoilers, I have those available for you guys to check out. So yeah, good show.
Yeah, there we go. And of course, here on the Star Wars Underworld Network, we got the flagship coming up tomorrow night at 9. Guarantee they're spending almost the entire show talking about the trailer, as they do. They're the flagship. They're in the podcast area. We do a little bit. We do our best, but they're definitely the talking about focusing on screen content. Yeah, and check out the Ray side. Hannah, she's got her stuff going on. Tales from Beyond the Galaxy was recording when I hit record, so check them out as well. They've got stuff going on. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff around the network and network friends of the network. Yeah, being pretty good. Happy to keep continuing on. We do. I don't know if I want to give the full announcement just yet. We do have something excited planned for Star Wars Podcast Day, February 7th, 2 weeks from now. We'll definitely check us out, keep us in mind for on our socials and Underworld socials, and we're gonna make a big push for that Star Wars Podcast Day. It's gonna be a special one. Probably won't talk about comics at all. Well, we'll talk about comics, but we won't talk about review a comic that came out that day, I should say. We'll probably save that for the next week. But yeah, definitely check us out next week on the 31st, where we talk about Dr. Afra number 40. Go to your local comic book shop, support local. Of course, if you prefer to do digital, do that, but go to your local comic book shop and pick up this issue. It's gonna, hopefully it flies like hotcakes. Hopefully it gets reprinted 1,000 times, re-released 1,000 times, because it deserves it. It's worth it. So yeah, check that out and check us out. Till then, happy reading.